Hey guys, so I'm just on the way to the casino right now. Plan is to grind for hopefully around 7 hours. Well, tonight I'm going up north with the family, so I mean it's 12:30 now, so I'll leave the casino. My plan is to play until 8:30. So whatever, hopefully I can get in at least 7 hours. Oh yeah, so a few weeks ago I was driving and it was raining and I was on the expressway, it was raining, so I couldn't see that well, and then I hit a pothole that I didn't see. And then the PSI in my tire immediately went from 40 to 30. And then so I went and I filled up the tire at the gas station. But then a few weeks later, it was back down to 30 again. PSI went back down to 30 again. So I was like, oh crap, I guess I have to, take the car to the shop and see what's wrong. So I took my car to the Lincoln dealership. So it's like a Ford Lincoln dealership, right? And they looked at it and then they told me that, so I thought there was like a hole in the tire or something, right? So I thought that, they were just gonna put a piece of tape, whatever, cover up the hole and it'd be fine. It would cost like $100 at the very most or something, right? But then they told me the tire was fine and they said it was the mag was like cracked and that I needed to replace the mag. And they told me, gave me an estimate, and they said to replace the mag would be $2,300. I was like, wait, what, $2,300? I'm just like, oh man, that's like an insane amount of money. So whatever, so I just like took the car home and the plan was to just like shop around. So then I went to a garage, like a local garage, showed them the car. So they said there was a crack in the mag, but they could repair it. But then they said the tire needed to be changed because the tire had been messed up. So I was kind of annoyed with the Lincoln because they didn't say anything was wrong with the tire, and they said the mag needs to be replaced. So they said to repair the mag would cost about $300, and to get me a new tire would be like $450 or something. So total, it ended up being $800. So yeah, so instead of paying $2,300 at the dealership, I ended up paying just $800 at this local garage. And then it kind of, pissed me off a bit about that Lincoln dealership, because I'm like, damn, they really tried to screw me essentially, or they really didn't care to, figure out what would be best for me. So I kind of feel or think I should never go back to that, Lincoln dealership again. And the whole thing kind of bothered me too. I was thinking about it too, because before I used to have a Cadillac, and so I had like, a little Cadillac ATS. And I remember, in general, I always just go to the Cadillac dealership to get it fixed. But the thing about that was like, when I would go there, it was, it was a Cadillac dealership. That's all they, that's all they sold. That's all they really dealt with was Cadillacs. And I mean, obviously it was pretty nice, and, it had like a, whatever, fancy feel and everything. And they made, feel, I thought they did a good job of making you feel important or special or whatever, right? Whereas Lincoln doesn't have their own dealerships. They're just like a division of Ford, right? And they don't, so yeah, it's just like a division of Ford, and they don't have their own like place or their own dealership where things are like fancy and you feel all like special or whatever. So I mean, I guess that was one thing I realized quickly when, switching to Cadillac Lincoln, is I kind of miss going to those Cadillac dealerships to, whatever, get my oil changed or my tires changed or whatever it was. It was like a different vibe. But I mean, obviously this Lincoln Continental is super sweet. But yeah, I think in general, like if you're like a luxury brand, I really think it makes sense to have your own dealership and not just like be like, whatever, like, I don't know, like if you're like trying to like sell Lexus, I think it would make more sense to have your own store rather than just a little small area next to the Toyota dealership, right? So yeah, in terms of like building a brand or whatever, I don't know what Lincoln's like. I could see why Cadillac outsells Lincoln and why Lincolns aren't that popular, I guess. But I mean, whatever, this Lincoln Continental is super sweet. And yeah, I guess because their brand isn't as highly desired. The car itself isn't that expensive, right? I mean, if you're gonna get a Mercedes-Benz or a BMW, like a full-size sedan, like whatever, 7 Series or an S-Class, it's gonna probably be like double the price of this Lincoln Continental. So yeah, I do think it's still pretty awesome value, and yeah, I do really love this car. And I'm happy that the tire's fixed now. It feels pretty good driving on it again. And yeah, I love being in this car, so glad to have it back. Anyways, on my way to Grind Casino Live today, hoping to run good. Online actually lately, I've been running so bad. It's been getting pretty frustrating. And I was grinding the other day online, and I was playing, so I was grinding 2.5, and I had a few like 1K pots, and I think my session started where I had like, what did I have? I had like a 65, a 55, a 45, and I just like started 0 for 3, and I was really tilted. And I've just been running bad online for a while. It seems that for Omaha I keep losing like aces to aces and stuff like that. So I just like withdrew all the money off my online accounts, took all the money off Party, all my money off Stars, and I was just like, yeah, I'm taking a break from online. So right now, the current plan is to get back into the live grind. So I like to do my vlogs like every Friday, like I've been doing, or whenever I go on Fridays. But besides that, my plan is to grind. I mean, I want to do at least 3 times a week. So, hopefully I can go 7-8 hours each time, get in, 20, whatever, maybe maybe right now my plan would be to grind live like 25 hours a week and do Uber, maybe 15 hours a week, something like that, or maybe 12 hours. Yeah, whatever. Let's just say 10 to 12 hours a week of Uber and, hopefully 25 hours, maybe more of live, and just do that for probably the rest, to do that for the rest of the month. So do that until pretty much October, even though I know the WCOOP main event on PokerStars is at the end of September, so I think I'll still play that tournament. So whatever, I guess I'll put my money back online, or I'll put some money back online at the end of September for the WCOOP main. What else? I was watching the debate a few days ago with Kamala Harris and Donald Trump, and I don't know, I thought the whole thing was pretty hilarious. I was laughing a bunch. I don't know, I think those debates are just funny. And then I thought it was also funny how Trump still just kept making fun of Biden, even though he wasn't debating him. And, Kamala kept saying like, I'm not Joe Biden. I thought it was pretty hilarious. And then, it's funny, I was watching the debate, and I remember thinking to myself, I mean, I'm Canadian, but whatever, I guess I identify with the States a lot or whatever, or sometimes I wish I was American. I could kind of see how, like, I don't know, it's just like it entertains me. Like, I watch American news, I don't watch Canadian news, just like I find everything in the US a lot more interesting than Canada. And then like I follow American elections, I don't follow the Canadian election, right? I don't really even care who the Prime Minister is in Canada or all those things. So anyway, so I'm definitely interested in the US. Even sports too, I don't really follow the NHL, but I follow like the NBA, the NFL, right? I don't really watch any CFL. So yeah, I'm definitely into like American culture and all that stuff. And I drive an American car too. So anyways, but yeah, so watching that debate, and I was thinking to myself, it's like, in terms of say being a Democrat or Republican, I would think of myself as somewhere in the middle, because I know throughout the years, I mean, I always thought like, who would I vote for if I could vote? So I know I definitely would have voted for Obama, and then I definitely would have voted for Hillary Clinton. And then I'm sure I would have voted for Trump over Biden. And then right now, I'm pretty sure I'd vote for Trump over Kamala. But watching that debate, I remember thinking to myself, like, I feel, my opinion, I thought Kamala was definitely winning the debate. But I was thinking to myself, like, yeah, Kamala is definitely winning the debate, but I'm still voting for Trump, Like, it's not like, just because she's winning the debate doesn't mean you want her to be the president. And whatever, I think it makes sense that she would win the debate, considering she seems like somebody who's like prepared and does her homework and all that stuff, whereas Trump just like shows up there and you get the sense he's just winging it and didn't really like rehearse anything at all. So whatever, yes, I agree Kamala won the debate, but I don't really think I don't think that means should change the odds at all over who's going to be president, or I don't think it technically should affect the odds at all, even though the odds did go a little more in Kamala's favor. After the debate, I checked to see how the odds changed, and Kamala Harris went from being, I think she went from being plus 125 to even money, like plus 100 exactly. What else? No, I was gonna say, so in the past I have bet on elections, and I bet a lot when Obama went against Mitt Romney, and I won that bet, so that was nice. And then I bet a little on Hillary when she went against Trump, so I lost that bet. And then I bet a lot on Trump when he went against Biden, and I lost that, so that was frustrating. Although I do think the reason I lost when Trump went against Biden, in my opinion, I think it was all just essentially because of COVID. I think if it wasn't for COVID, I think Trump wins easily. So I think the reason he didn't, win I think the reason he got unseated and lost the election, I think it was just because of the pandemic and all the craziness and how poorly the United States handled it. So I think that was a big factor, at least in my opinion it was. So for this election, the odds are about 50-50. I am going to bet a little on Trump, but I'm going to wait till the end just to see where the odds go. Or I might just not bet at all. But the two things that kind of make me think betting Trump is a good bet is just, so in general, when it comes to sports betting and handicapping, you want to bet on like sure things. So you want to bet on things that are essentially like predictable, what you can like rely on. So a perfect example for me was always, Mayweather was like predictable and boring, and you kind of knew what you were going to get, and you knew he was going to take every fight seriously. So I liked betting on him, whereas someone like Pacquiao was unpredictable, and he fought super aggressive, and you never knew what you were going to get. So Pacquiao was someone who I didn't like to bet on, right? So I was often betting on someone like Floyd and not betting on someone like Pacquiao. So for this election, to me, the one thing that's unpredictable is a woman's never been president, right? So to say I'm going to bet on a woman to be president, I feel like it's not necessarily a great bet, because it's never you're betting on something that's never happened before. So it's never been, there's no history of enough people voting for a female candidate to be the president. And so since that's never happened, I don't want to bet on something that's like never happened before. And then the other thing that kind of seems pretty interesting to me is Kamala Harris was never elected as the Democratic nominee. So in general, every time you have an election, you have your two candidates. One gets elected to be the Republican nominee, and the other gets elected to be the Democrat nominee, right? Because they won the primaries. So when Biden ran against Trump, he beat, who'd he beat? He beat, Michael Bloomberg and Bernie Sanders and all those guys, right? And then he eventually beat Trump one-on-one, or heads up. Whereas Kamala was just Biden's vice president, and she never won the Democratic primary or anything like that. She never got elected, and then she was just, Biden stepped down and Harris stepped in, which makes sense. I mean, obviously that's how it should work. You go from the president. If the president, can't fulfill his duties, then you go to the vice president. So to me, it's fair that she's the nominee, and it makes sense. But it's just the fact that she was never elected just, makes me think she hasn't proven that she's willing to get people to come vote for her. She hasn't proven that she's going to have a high voter turnout. Whereas with Trump, you're going to get a high voter turnout. I mean, you don't necessarily know, what the independent voters are going to do, but you do know that Trump has a huge following, and they're all going to turn up for the election and vote for him. So when you put in all those things into factors, I think Trump should be around a 2-1 favorite. I think that seems reasonable. So you have Trump at -200 and Kamala at +200. But that's not the case. They're even money. So because they're even money, I think you have to assume betting on Trump is good value. I think it has to be a good bet. I'm gonna wait though, to see what happens. But come November, assuming they're around even money and not much has changed, I'm gonna bet something on Trump. Maybe I'll bet. I don't know. I mean, I don't think I'll bet more than $500, but I'm sure I'll bet a few hundred at least. I guess I'll let you guys know how much I do bet on Trump if I do. But I think I'm definitely leaning towards betting on him to win the elections. That'll be fun. And then, I always find that watching those elections on election night is a lot of fun, a good time. What else has been going on? Oh yeah, so I was wondering too. As a kid, I was a huge football fan. Well, I mean, I still love playing football and stuff, but I was a huge NFL fan. I loved watching it, and whatever. Yeah, it was awesome, right? And then football started this past weekend, and I watched it a little bit. And I think I watched one series of the first game, and on Thursday, and then I turned it off. And then on Sunday, I watched one series of the Cowboys and Cleveland game, and then I think they scored a touchdown, and I just turned it off. And I was like, I really just can't watch football anymore. And at least in my opinion, I think the product has just gotten much worse. And I'm curious what other people think. I think the ratings are still pretty high, but I remember as a kid watching football, it was completely different the way everything played. I mean, for example, Ray Lewis was always my favorite player, right? And so someone like Ray Lewis couldn't even exist anymore. And then I also liked how back then each team had their star running back, and you could, it seemed like running back was almost as important as quarterback, and pretty much whatever, let's say 60% of years, like the MVP would be a quarterback, and maybe 40% of years the MVP was a running back, like league MVP. So I don't know, I just enjoyed the game. I thought it was much more entertaining to watch, and yeah, I'm surprised. Like, I'm sure the ratings I guess the ratings still have to be pretty good, but I don't know. I find watching the NFL now, it's just like a bad time, and there's so many replay reviews that really slow the game down. I just feel like it's boring, and I don't know. I love football though, so I'm gonna try and watch some, but I don't know. I find it tough to watch. I said, even, I remember I was talking to my brother too, like, we keep saying how we're gonna watch less and less football, and this year it seems like we might be watching very little, but I keep saying that I'm kind of, my plan, well, at least with the NFL, I want to just like only watch the playoffs. Like when the playoffs come, watch that, but I don't even know if I could watch the regular season anymore. And even the playoffs, I don't know if I can even watch that. Like, I'm thinking maybe start watching at the conference finals. So when there's 4 teams left, start watching, and then watch the Super Bowl. Obviously Super Bowl's a great time. You have your Super Bowl parties, always have a Super Bowl party and all that, but I don't know, I find football's just like gotten boring for me. And then I wondered too, like, maybe it's because, like, I'm older now, and whatever, let's say when you're a kid and you're 15 and you're watching, these 25-year-old super athletes, it's a lot of fun, and maybe you have a different feel when you're in your, when you're older than the people you're watching, right? So I'm like 36 and they're like 21, and I'm just like, oh, I can't like watch this or something. I don't know. I'm curious if more people feel the same way though, that like watching football is just like not entertaining the way it used to be. But yeah, so I don't know. I don't find it entertaining. I mean, I essentially find it kind of boring at this point, even though obviously they are great and everything. I mean, great athletes, and they're running super fast and they're amazing, but to me it's gotten kind of boring. What else is up? I don't know. Just chilling here, driving to the casino. Oh yeah, so for also for chess, right? So if you've been watching any of my chess videos, so yeah, the goal is to get to that 1710, and right now I've been hovering around 1650 for a while. So my new plan is to so my blitz chest is at like 1100, right? So I want to go just took a break from bullet chest, get my blitz from like say 11 to 12, and then I'm thinking maybe somehow, because when I play blitz, I just play 3 minute with a 3 minute countdown. So I'm thinking if I can improve at 3 minutes, maybe that can somehow make me better at 1 minute. So get my bullet chest rating from 1100 to 1200, which shouldn't be too hard, and then go for try and get my bullet chest from 1650 past 1700, and then I'd love to show those videos online, for everyone to see. And I mean, I enjoy watching them myself just to see, whatever. To me, it's a sense of like accomplishment if I can get my bullet chest over 1700. I think that's like, I just think it's an impressive feat. Anyways, I guess that's all for now. Should be at the casino in about probably about 20 minutes. So just gonna chill out, enjoy the drive, listen to some music. All right, guys, that's all for today. All right, have a good weekend, everyone. Bye.